We're moving on. All right, Jacob, let's hear your 2021 fall, or I'm sorry, we're on risers now. 2021 riser at the running back position for fantasy this year.
So my running back riser for 2021 is none other than CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE. Now, there's obviously a lot of context that goes into this. I am never falling for a rookie running back in redraft and taking them in the first round ever again. I did that last year with CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE. It burns me. I had to fight my way to the playoffs, and I made it, but it was I had a losing record most of the season because I took him in the first round. And I think fantasy managers like myself are taking it like too far and saying, nope, he burned me once, I'm never drafting him again in redraft. And so you see his ADP has fallen significantly, obviously. And look, I'm not saying, I still don't think he's going to be an RB1 next year, but he definitely has the potential to. And I just think that, look, the way that on your list from the scoring that you took these rankings from, he's ranked number 22 from last year. That is crazy for a guy that we thought was going to have like top 6 potential. He finished 22. 22 is pretty solid. Like it just all has to do with expectations, right? Like there's, Mike Davis, 18. We never thought Mike Davis would be 18, right? Even with McCaffrey out. So that him being 18 is a good thing, but we say CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE being 22 is a disappointment, but he's a rookie running back, obviously going to the Chiefs. I think we learned our lesson. The Chiefs running back is like, they don't need their running game to work that great to be great most of the times. Obviously, they could have used a better running game in the Super Bowl. I'm not denying that, but they don't use their workhorse the same way other teams do. They do a lot of trick plays and a lot of experimenting in the red zone. And also, CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE couldn't get into the end zone a lot on his red zone carries. And I think they realized that and stopped going to him. So all that being said, like he's still a 20, I think he's 22 still. Let me see his age. He's 22. So he's still really young. He has a year under his belt, and he had a good year. He had a combined 1,100 yards. He had 800 on the ground, about 300 in the air, 181 rushes, 54 targets, 36 receptions. Like he had a good year. If we weren't like hyping him, and it's impossible to stop that hype. He was drafted in the first round by the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh my goodness. Like it's impossible to stop that hype. But if we weren't hyping him so much, if we were looking at him like we're looking at Javonte Williams this year, and he ends up being the running back 22, we're pretty happy with that. So I definitely think he's going in the top 15, and I think he's going to be a high-end running back too. I just think that more time with the team, I think they're going to figure whatever wasn't working with him, whatever wasn't working with them in the Super Bowl, they're going to try to figure that out, and think CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE is going to be a big part of that. So I just think the hate for CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE has gone too far, and we need to kind of bring it back to the middle where not as much hype as last year, but definitely he needs. I think if you get CLYDE as your running back too, you're happy because, in my opinion, he has RB1 upside. Like there's certain guys you look at and it's like, I don't even think David Montgomery is going to be finishing in the top 5. Like I don't even think he's going to have a chance to. I think CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE is going to have a chance to. And that being said, he's definitely rising from 22 into the top 15, in my opinion.
That's not a bad pick, but let's play the picking game, Jacob. CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE, currently going in the 4th round, somewhere around there, or Najee Harris, who's at the end of the 3rd round. So, like, technically, let's just say you had the 10-11 pick, right? But in the 4th round. So you had the, 29th or the 39th and the 41st pick, whatever, 40th pick. Who are you taking? You taking Najee or CLYDE?
So I know I said, like, we hyped CLYDE EDWARDS-HELAIRE last year, and it's like the best rookie running back coming out that we thought, and now it's Najee Harris. But we're not talking about drafting them in the 1st round. We're talking about drafting them in the 3rd, 4th round or whatever. So I'm going Najee, to be honest, because that lack of need for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, yeah, he's a great piece for them to have, but did they need him all year? Not necessarily. So
The Steelers will need
still
Najee. Yeah.
I still have a fear of that. The Steelers, they need Najee Harris. They drafted him because they need a workhorse running back. Like, I think Najee Harris is going to have one of the top volume in the league, like top 5 volume in the league next year. So I'm definitely going Najee Harris.
This one's a little bit more interesting. Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Josh Jacobs. They're literally like a pick apart,
so,
2 picks apart.
To me, the deciding factor in that is they brought in Kenyon Drake, who's going to eat heavily into Josh Jacobs' work, in my opinion. And the Chiefs brought in Jerick McKinnon, who's going to like barely, see the field, in my opinion. So, and of course they still have Darrell Williams and stuff, but they brought in the Raiders brought in another starting running back, and now you have 2 there. The Chiefs still only have 1 starting running back. So that's where the deciding factor comes in. If there was no Kenyon Drake, then it becomes a lot closer, but I go Clyde.
I am torn. And I'm not doing this because of biasy or anything. I just think that, like you mentioned in your argument for why Clyde is going to jump this year, but why he struggled last year because of the trickery and the way that the Kansas City offense, ran and was orchestrated was very particular, and that did not always involve Clyde Edwards-Helaire. With that being said, when you look at a guy like Josh Jacobs, I think the hype has completely been, overdone. It's roadkill at this point. I don't think that, Kenyon Drake is going to come in and get 200 carries this season. I think Josh Jacobs is the man that is going to carry the ball. I think that he's the better runner. I think he was brought in because, Josh Jacobs isn't going to see anything in the passing game anymore. But then that's what that boils down to. Do you want a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who we're hoping could make that jump into the next tier, right? Or a guy that can make that jump who's in a questionable backfield, or not even a questionable backfield. I don't deny that he's the running back 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just saying, how valuable is the running back 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs? So When I think about that, I look at Josh Jacobs and I'm like, well, how valuable is he? I know that he had a solid rookie campaign, and I know that he struggled and was injured last year often. So with that being said, I still think the reliability factor, at least going into this year, is with Josh Jacobs, and that's where I would take Josh Jacobs over a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Well, to me,
can we look at that, Jacob, please?
Clyde and Jacobs?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally will. But I just want to say, like, look at this. Take any starting running back in the NFL and say that team is adding Kenyon Drake to that backfield, right? It hurts everyone. Like, I mean, even if
because he's got a name, he's got a bigger name.
It's not just his name, but he's super talented. He could be starting running back on a team. Like, he's maybe not a workhorse, but he's definitely like one where you want another guy there too. But I'm just saying, like, even if like this would never happen, but you throw him on the Cowboys, you automatically less interested in Zeke, less interested in Pollard. You throw him on, even if you throw him on the Titans, like, he's going to eat into Henry's workload. So when you throw him on the Raiders, a guy with Jacobs, a guy who we're not looking at as like being a top 8 running back, it's going to hurt him even more because I think he's going to get on the field more. Drake would get on the field more than he would if he went to the Titans or something like that.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I'm torn.
But no, I just like, I'm kind of glad that you're, torn on that because like it makes me think about different perspectives and like, okay, why does he think that way? What am I not seeing? So I'm glad we disagree on that.